Proverbs chapter 2. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom. I want to catch this because Jesus would always say, him who have ears to hear, let him hear. The reality is this: we all have ears, but are we listening? The Bible tells us in Proverbs to turn our ear to wisdom. But don't just turn your ear to wisdom. Apply your heart to understanding. It's one thing to hear the word. It's another thing to take it and apply the word to our life. And I love this proverb because really that's what this DiscipleMe app is rooted in. We created this app to help people hear the word, understand the word, and apply the word to their life. It's as if God says to us, it's not just hearing it. We're not just to be hearers of the word, but doers of the word, the New Testament tells us. And so we want to apply it to our life. Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry out aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. It basically says if you ask God for wisdom, he'll give it to you. If you seek God in his word, he'll reveal himself to you. The prophet Jeremiah said, seek me and you will find me when you seek me with your whole heart. We're to seek God with our whole heart. For the Lord, verse 6, gives wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. If God speaks it, it's wisdom. If God speaks it into your life, it'll bring about knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield for those whose walk is blameless. So he is our reward. He is our shield. How interesting how God said to Abraham, I want to say it was in Genesis 15, Abraham, for I am thy shield in thy exceeding great reward. When Israel would walk through the wilderness, he would shield them. But the Bible also tells us that they went through the camps of the Egyptians and they plundered them. He was their exceeding great reward. For he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand what is right and just and fair in every good path. God will reveal to us what is right. God will reveal to us what is good. If you find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do, seek God in his word. Ask him. He'll show you the steps to take. Verse 10, for wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you. Discretion will preserve you. Understanding will guard you. We want to be men and women who live a life of discretion. There's so many stories that we've covered in the Bible that show us, you've heard me say it before, discretion will preserve you. If we don't use discretion, it'll bring about our destruction. We need to be men and women who use discretion, who aren't quick and rush into everything, but use wisdom in everything that we do. Verse 12, wisdom will save you from the ways of the wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked and whose ways are devious. Basically, wisdom will help you to be able to discern who's good and who's bad, and will be able to help you to discern who you should listen to and who you shouldn't. We all need discernment. May God give us discernment and discretion. Verse 16, wisdom will save you from the adulterous woman. Now, this is written from a father to a son, but this also applies to us who are daughters who are listening. Hear me, ladies. You need to be careful as well, because the adulterous man can be dangerous as well. We don't need to live a life that lacks faithfulness and lacks covenant. From the wayward woman with her seductive words, there are people who will speak to us seductively. They're not people of covenant. They've left the partner of their youth and ignored the covenant they made before God. This scripture applies to men and women. I know he's talking to a son, but it applies to both of us in principle in the word. We need to be careful who we talk to, where our conversations go, how they lead. We don't need to get all religious on people, but we do need to use wisdom and discretion. Verse 18, surely her house leads down to death and her path to the spirits of the dead. None who go to her return or attain the paths of life. Solomon's saying basically, you go down that path. You go down that path, there's going to be pain. It's the path of pain. It seems good, it tastes sweet, but in the end, it's going to sting. Thus, you will walk in the ways of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it. There are consequences for our choices, and if we walk uprightly, if we live blameless, we will have staying power. God will make sure that we remain and that things go well with us. But if we're wicked, if we're unfaithful, there's things that will be cut off and torn from us. There's things that we'll lose. Things that God intended to be good in our life can be taken from us. Why? Not because God's mean, but because of the choices we make. And so it is written, discretion will protect you, it'll preserve you. Lord, may we be men and women who have discretion, who walk in discernment, who choose to follow your word even when it's not convenient, even when it's not comfortable, even when it's not our preference. May we align to your purpose so that we will live in the land and we will remain in it. Be blessed today.